Well, here's the thing. I might have to turn it off because I can see my computer going way too hard at trying to run this and the stream at the same time. But I got the map, and but the problem is I can't really go on two screens at the same time. Uh, like this takes up the full computer screen. So yeah, and I can't. I'm trying to figure out how to center this on the screen. Let me. I got the map. Now, how do I move it? It's different on the computer than it is on a tablet. That is for sure. Camera movement. That's what I need. Yeah, 2 fingers rotates, 3 fingers can pan. Okay, but 3 fingers for me will just change screens. Doesn't, yeah, I think I need a mouse. I think he recommended I use a mouse when I'm on the computer. Yeah, so, oh well. It was worth a shot to see if I could show it off at the same time while in the live stream. But let's just go ahead and X out of it. Give my computer a break. But you hear me all right? I think I got this mic working the way that it's supposed to. Might just be you and me tonight, Liam. But we'll see what happens. See if anyone drops in. Did you get a lot of? Did you get a Kickstarter going or a GoFundMe going for your trip to Gen Con? And what's it? If you got the GoFundMe going, how much you raised so far to go to Gen Con? Good amount. Are you ready to go? I was thinking about doing a feature show off. Well, Coach showed off the Forge last night, so hopefully we start getting more traffic. Well, we definitely got more traffic, and I'm bummed because I, and I don't know if it was just because he was one of the first people. Like I added a certain feature that like unlocked everything. Like so people like users like yours and Onyx who have the highest Patreon tier. Um, and this is why it's so weird because he had the same badge. So I don't know why everything wasn't unlocked. And you guys aren't the only ones. So it's like yours works, Onyx works, the guys at Mirror Forge works, and uh, coaches didn't. Like I don't know why. I don't know why everything was locked, even though he had the same working badge as everyone else in. Um, and I was a little bummed. I was a little bummed to see, like I was looking for when someone said show off the DM screen. I was like, yes, please show off the DM screen. So I was gonna do that tonight if we got a people who pop up. Maybe I'll just do a show off because this is gonna post anyway. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe let me get that up. Let me get that up the way. That way I can isolate it here. Yeah, let's do that there. Let's go over here to the DM screen. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. All right. And I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out how to use the studio so that I can have the chat in there at the same time. All right. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to pull this out. I want to pull it out. Can I pull it out? No, I think it just stays in the studio. Yeah, we'll just leave it right there. Let's see though. Let's go over here real quick and switch over this to no. Oh, what the heck? Haven't raised anything yet. Coach said to contact him in 2 weeks. I also told people supporting the Forged on Patreon is technically money to get. Yeah, if we do really well, I did see that. I watched it this morning. 10:30 was way too late for me. Me and my wife, way too late for me. That's the only reason I missed it. Otherwise, I would have had the DM screen fixed like right then and there during his live stream. Had well, that's not opening what I wanted to open. All right, well let's delete that real quick. Yeah, and then we'll add browser. Oh no, it'll just do, or can I do it this way? Still figuring this thing out a little bit, this OBS Studio. Like sometimes it works exactly the way you want it to. Other times, not so much. Oh yeah, no, it's just gonna do a login. Nope, so that doesn't work. What else can we add here? I'll probably try to get tickets for next or following paycheck. There you go. Maybe I have to open this. Let's do open OBS window. Yeah, you're right. It just says characters in the back. I gotta figure out why that's happening. But okay. This is way too big though. Let's get this. Let's get this fit in our screen here. Still way too big. There we go. Fit in the screen. No. No, it's not going to fit perfect, but that's okay. All right. All right. Yeah, so we'll dedicate this particular live stream to, since it's just us, just going over the ever wonderful, we got another person. I know you've said to repurchase everything on the website. If you did, Coach Kickstarter, what about the EA patron people? And are you going to integrate with Foundry or something similar? Great question, Raven. So answering that, I'm going to answer that in two parts. So first off, so patron, and I don't know if you're a patron, if you're talking about patron my patron, or you're talking about patron coach patron, but even if you're a patron on my Patreon, I have tiers that unlocks all of the digital content. So I think it's the $100 tier. I don't know if it's 100 or 75. I think it's the $100 tier. So the $100 tier basically, you get Dragon Forge status, you unlock all of the Patreon content, all the digital content that is currently on DC20 Forge. And as I come out with new stuff, as long as you're still that, you'll get it for free. So that's number one there. As for if your YouTube comments are short, well, it's just me, just me and Liam today, and you, if you're talking about right now. Yeah, I don't have big live streams like Coach. Okay, whoops, I undocked that. Let me fix that. Whoops. Yeah, let's bring that back. Shoot, what'd I do? Ah, damn it. I can't believe I just did that. There we go. So yeah. Yeah, I don't have the 400 plus followers that Coach has. But yeah. Not yet anyway. Yeah, well, yeah, once this continues to take off, I'm sure they'll get a little bit bigger. But I'm lesser known in the community. But yeah, to answer you, I have a Patreon status for the level of tier that will unlock all of the digital content. If you want to go about it that route, the $75 and the $100 Patreon users not only get that, but we're working on doing some games. I'm going to be running some games for the certain levels of Dragon Forge status. And we were talking about doing one-shots. We're talking about doing I'll show you the scene in a second, but we're talking about doing maybe like a battle royale where we'll start off at level 1 and we'll do like all of the level 1 classes and try that out. I've got a cool battle map arena. Sorry, I mean, I can't write enough in my questions. Oh, well, I have no idea how to lengthen that. I will look into that for next time to see if there's a character limit somewhere. I have not seen it, if there is. And then to answer your second part of your question, integrate with something. Yes, Mirror Forge. So and you weren't here last week, but I've still got it propped up, so I'll show it real quick. But this is Mirror Forge. This is our this is actually one of my battle arena maps, and so they took it and they made it 3D, and so this is where we're thinking about trying to do some kind of like a live stream battle royale. And seeing if we can run it that way. But ultimately, right now, it is just a terrain builder. It's just a VTT. There's no connected any softwares, modules, or systems. So DC20 is going to be the first. So I'm partnering with them. I've got a meeting with them next week on the 5th to kind of go over the logistics. But the character sheets that you build here in DC20 Forge, you'll be able to port over and access from Mirror Forge. And we want to make sure that other things, like if you're a DM who let's just say you're using AR goggles or anything like that, we want to make sure that all of the DM screen stuff, campaign stuff, anything that someone wants to have access to in the game will be available in it, so they don't have to go back and forth. But that's the ultimate end goal. But we're going to talk logistics next Thursday. And then Arcan Forge, I need, and this is my fault, it's not on them, I have to basically put together some API codes for them to use, but they're going to integrate for as well. Though I feel like they explicitly say they're not a system VTT. Liam, you know more about Arcan Forge than I do, but their whole offline system. But Foundry is its own. They've got their own character sheet, so they don't need me. And then Onyx, I know, is as a part of his video game. He wants to, and we'll see what that looks like way down the line. But let's just say that you've got a character built in DC20 Forge, and you want to add that character to your DC20 video game that Onyx is working on. you'll be able to supposedly connect that character to Onyx's video game, DC20 video game, which it looks sick so far. Just I've seen what some of the stuff he's been playing with, and he's the one who built the dice builder for DC20 Forge. So that's all wicked sick. But yeah, I'll catch up on questions in a minute, but I'm gonna do a quick run through of the beautiful DM screen here, since it was asked about last night. And so here's what's great about the DM screen right off the bat, is that it is customizable. So if there's any of these things that you don't feel like you need as a DM, if this is too cluttered, if there's anything that you're missing, you can come down here, you can create a whole new widget and fill it with the information that you want. But just to run through what is there right now. So in the DM screen, we have quick rules, which is just the actions. You can click on any of them. It'll tell you exactly what they do. So if you're running a monster and you want to do a different action than maybe ones that are designated on it, you have that resource right there. Damages are listed right there, just quick damage types. All the conditions and what they mean are in here, whether or not they are stackable. Monster rolls. So if you're not really sure exactly what the role of a monster is, you can come in here and you can quickly read about their strengths and weaknesses and how they play their role in combat. Bring it to the calendar. You can, in the world builder, you can put together calendars. You can connect them to a campaign. My Adventures of Pangea campaign is currently in one of my adventures right now, but and I do have one built for my Planetos, basically Westeros style campaigns. So I do have a calendar built for that. There's no calendar for Curse of Strahd, but depending on what campaign you're running, you can change the calendar. It'll give you any celestial events that are going on in that day, and this will save it to your campaign as you hit previous and next. So you can kind of keep track of days, and if there's any big events that are going to happen, you can keep track of that right there. Common DC checks. The reason so for a lot of DMs, a lot of the stuff you may not need. So DC scale, degrees of success, common DCs, nat 1s and nat 20s. You may not even need this, but for someone who may be just new, just starting, this may be something that you want. And if you want to run your crit rolls a little bit different, you can go down to the create custom widget and you can do that way. Vision and light is super important. Just the different types of vision, light levels, what they mean between bright light, dim light, darkness, magical darkness, and how to see in those. Cover. Now cover, this is obviously a little bit played towards, there's lightly obscured, heavily obscured, but half cover and 3/4 cover are actually, I think, the ND concepts. I could not find it, so these may be updated in the future. I'm not sure if half cover and full cover are supposed to benefit the both PD and AD at the same time, or not. Then you got your rests. Now, you may or may not need this as a DM. It may just be a great quick reference for you, just so that you know what your characters are going to be getting back, what your players are going to be getting back, and what it requires when they get into it. But all of the character sheets are built with rest buttons that'll automatically do everything for you, which is great. But just the concept of what rest points do, what grit does, different levels of exhaustion, obviously all of that's right there. So environment, terrain, lighting, again, just writing just reference a second time, just in case, again. And so there's a little bit of repetition in some of these, but it's just a matter of and I could probably combine some of these, but it's just a matter of I wanted a kind of easy way to find everything. So even if it takes you a second in this whole thing, that's got to be able to scroll. And these are a little bit made up. Like, there's obviously no reference to what the PD or AD is for any of these objects. I'm just kind of putting in placeholders for information right now, until that stuff comes with its own HP and stuff, and types of damage. Creatures in combat. This is your whole creatures in combat section. And for those of you who might be looking for the prone condition, that is technically no longer a prone condition, DC20, you can find it right here along with flanking. So just everything you need to know right there. Random generators, again, this isn't fully built out or anything like that, but it is just a fun little thing. Like if you need something in the moment, I plan on expanding it a little bit more to get a little bit more detailed, a little bit more options, but just random generators in case you ever need a name. But maybe we want to make that Elvin or Quark, and I've only got those 3 right now, but I'll add more in the future so that DMs who need a name on the fly, they've got a little resource right there. And then we've got the last 3, which is encounters. And this is important. So the encounters, run encounter, basically will be on every page of the DM screen. So if you want to collapse all these to make it a little bit easier, you can. Scenes, you have it right at the bottom there in case you need to reference a scene at the same time. You got a full page in the encounter section. So it's on all the pages that you need when you're working with it. So the Oracle, and to explain a little bit what this is if you've ever dealt with the Mythical GM emulator. The Mythical GM emulator is a way to play games without a DM. And so a couple friends and I, because there's only 3 of us and we were just learning how to play DC20, we actually started a little DM-less DC20 game, and we were having a time of our life with it using the Mythic GM emulator deck. And this is just supposed to be a kind of offshoot of it. It's not exactly the same, but similar concepts. There's a lot of different GM emulators out there, and so I just kind of used some rough fundamentals about it. Whether or not a story is volatile or chaotic, whether or not the players are in control or not. You can kind of choose if you as a DM, maybe you want to use this as the DM, or maybe you just want to use this as a group of people who are playing a DM-less game. If you're not sure about, you just ask yourself a yes or no question. Does this person know this? And then you choose what the likelihood, and then you say consult the Oracle, and it will say yes or no, and tell you no. And then if you need information about a PC, well, the demeanor of that PC that you just met is eager to please. They want to escape their current life, has a distinctive scar on or mark. So it'll just give you brief little descriptions about any location you go to, an NPC, an object you're interfacing with. If you need a story twist, boom. It's just a kind of little playful way to run DM-less games, and it's a little bit meant to be cooperative storytelling in that element. And then the last thing on here is the lore legend. So if you need any information about any part of your worlds that you've built in World Builder, this is where you're going to find it. So right there, I've just looked up, my Atlantean Empire, and on my Atlantean Empire page, it has this paragraph. It has the Council of Kings. Let's not use that one. I've got a lot more here. So how about the Iron Isles? There you go, Iron Isles. And now looks like I need to give this a little bit of upgrade, because there are definitely more than these in the Iron Isles. That, or I haven't properly connected them in my World Builder, which might be my fault. But well, how about the Riverlands? Let's go with the Riverlands. Let's see what that reveals. Just a quick description. And again, it just really depends on what you're looking for. If you need to search anything in particular, then it will. But if you want all the information to something connected, like, for instance, I did Iron Isles. Just use that as an example. The House Greyjoy is located in the Iron Isles. The Iron Isles have these 2 locations. So if there are other locations in the Iron Isles that belong there, I may not have connected them to it in the World Builder. And if that's the case, I need to go fix that so that when I'm here in my lore legend, I can easily look that up. But I do know, let's see, what's one of the common ones? Pike. There you go. So Pike is obviously in the Iron Isles. It is obviously should be connected to it. It's not. That's my fault. But anything that you want to look up in your lore legend, in your World Builder, without ever having to leave the DM screen, is right there. As I said, we have our encounter builder. Some cool things about this. Now, if you are running a game as a DM to players on who are in DC20 Forge. So, for example, Liam is L300 and Onyx is Oni. So I have both of them in my campaign. They're connected. They have characters, and so in here, one of the cool things about this is that if I click Start Combat, and if let's just say Liam was in his character sheet right now, he would get a little sign that says Roll for Initiative. And so he can either manually roll and type it in, or he can click the Roll Initiative button. It'll automatically roll right there for him. And this will automatically update his initiative counter and place him in order. Now, I don't have the DC set or anything, but that's what these would be set at, and I would change those to restructure it. But I wouldn't have to structure any of the characters in here and in order of initiative, as long as they click their buttons on their side. And as their HP changes on their character sheet, as their PD80 changes, as they use AP, as conditions are added, this will automatically update on the DM side, so they can keep track of everything without having specifically keep track of the players. So they only really have to focus on the monsters, making it a little bit easier for the DM to run. And if you and again, conditions and everything's up here. This is why I made sure that the counter runner was on every page. So maybe if you're smart, you'll move the conditions down to the bottom so that they are easy to access for the DM. But that's a little snapshot there. Then we have our scenes. So you can come in here. You can load scenes from any of the pre-made modules, and you've got your scene introduction, your key moments. Everything that in scene 1 is basically here. Scene 2 all the way out to the resolution. If you want to build your own modules, you can. You can make individual scenes. If you're just preparing a one-shot, you can just prepare a series of scenes, and you can order them and add them to the scene board. If you want to, this is actually it's actually in campaigns, but you can build your own modules, add them in here, and be able to use them. And that is, in a nutshell, the DM screen. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy that use, and let me know what you think, if there's anything that needs to be added. As I said, I tried to make it have as much information as I felt like a DM would need, and then also flexible enough where you can customize and make your own widgets. You can also remove any of these that you don't feel like belong in your game or in your way. So yeah, that's the DM screen. All right, now let me catch up on questions. So they are not system VTT, but it has D&D stat blocks. Okay, so I convinced them to add DC20 ones. Nice. Did you see my feedback on skill challenges? Maybe. And if you mean, let me see if I know what you mean. Let me go right here. Feedback on skill challenges. So let's just go to scenes. Let's go create custom scene and skill challenge. Oh, you mean manually add? Yeah, manually add a challenge DC. Yes, I did. I have to update it. I think that morning I just finished it when I got your messages, and I had to run out. I never got back to it. I've been working on the 3 infusion problems for the longest time, because as I fix one thing seems to break. The Artificer is truly the bane of my existence with the infusions, trying to make them as workable as possible. Did you see yeah, I still think the spell AoE illustrations should be available. Yes, that was a big consideration for me. I'm going to note that if I have a pen. If it's not already in, no, it should already be in there. So yeah, those will be added. The spell AoE. I was gonna add the pictures into an actual one of those. So great idea there, Liam. No, the difference covers are in DC20. There is even a picture explaining it. I posted it to my DM screen feedback. The cover, like the cover. Let me go here. DC20 screen feedback. DC 7. I'm not getting notifications from these threads. I'm going to tell you that right now. DM screen feedback. Okay. Quick rule search bar. So there is bug. Nothing comes up no matter what you type. What? What? Let me see. Let me see. Where am I on OBS? Am I still on that screen? Okay, I'm going to move away from that screen for the moment while I'm answering questions. Let me see. Rule search, and let's go with, let's just say barbarian. Okay, so just, that's weird. All right, put it on my list. Illustrations, place the image in the cover section of the DM screen. The image below illustrates how line of sight and cover work DC20. Player A would have no cover, player B would have half cover, player C would have 3/4 cover, player D is full. Okay, that's great, but how does that work? That's my question. Is and this is where I was having trouble finding it. Does it give you +2 if you're half cover? Is it +2 to AD, or PD? Is it if for 3/4 cover? Is it +5 the same way D&D works? So that's what I couldn't find, Liam. Is if those bonuses work the same way, and do they work on both AD and PD or just one or the other? That's what I was having trouble figuring out. And I looked hard. If you search in the rule books of the resources, that one works pretty well. So, but you're right. I got to update the rule search menu. That's got to be a little bit more fleshed out. Oh, speaking of Mirrorscape, they just sent me a new calendar. All right, 6:30 p.m. Thursday the 5th. Let's go. Oh, we lost Raven. Well, either way, I did the first. That means I don't have to do a specific DM screen video because I did it on the live stream. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do an extraction. I'll just pull it out and add it. Oh, but I got to do what Coach does. You know, I gotta sit there and give my spiel. Thanks for listening, guys. All that. That would have made more sense. I'm still getting used to these. Cover. Does this mic sound better, by the way? I'm curious. I worked so hard to get it working. It better sound better. It's gonna be. The thing is, where I thought it would be, in Creatures in Combat, or in combat rules. Maneuvers, spellcasting enhancements, categorizing spells, starting combat, initiative, generals, environment. Jumping. I feel like it would be under creatures. Moving through, collision, throwing. Nope. I'm also trying to find that. Okay, here's the picture. Cover. So half cover. Creature has -2 penalty. Okay, I have found it. I am screenshotting it, and I am going to update those, because I was having trouble finding those. So it's not that they have a plus to their PD80. It's just that the attacker has -2 or -5 on attack checks and spell checks. But is that attack tier? That again, important distinction here is that attack checks, attack and spell attacks, or spell checks, physical checks, because they're separated now. And I feel like that might not have been something that was updated. Wish it was louder. I got it as loud as I can go. That better? If I point it at my face, I can look at my phone's PDF reader. This adds. Look at my phone's PDF reader has ads. Yeah, screw ads. But yes, to answer the question of PD80, I was on the right track, but I'll update that on the character sheet. I mean DM screen as well. Get that working. Oh. Next video, I'm gonna do. What should I do for my next video though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I think that cover rule makes more sense. It definitely does, because what would you apply to PD80? Well, here's a question, because I know that he'll work this out soon. But will they add martial and spell attacks or both attacks? Yes, but the rule says spell checks, and they separated spell checks from spell attacks. So just saying. I think that needs to be clarified a little bit. I think it's just one of those things that you don't know where, like, even when you separate those things, you don't know everywhere in the book that you referred to checks and attacks and all these things. So it's just like how, like, when I will update certain things, like it's like, oh, I missed this, I missed that, because there's so much stuff that's intertwined and intertangled. But he said something about. Oh, no, that didn't have nothing to do with me. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I wish he had played with it a little bit more, because if he had let me know, because he said he was gonna do a video letting me know what he thought of the whole thing once he did, and if he had done that, I would have been able to unlock those features before he went on the live stream last night, and he could have showed off the DM screen. So I mean, he's a busy guy, so I don't blame him for not getting to it. But either way, I appreciate the shout out. I'm glad he's impressed with it. I'm glad he likes it. I hope he gets to play with it soon a little bit more, because it'd be interesting to see if he decides to use it for his campaigns, and that he does, and use the DM screen to help run, and use the module builder to build modules, since it's literally what he does already. So I'd be very curious to see if it becomes something that, once he has a sense of how it works, if he starts playing with it more. Wild forms. In what way? In just going through how to do them on DC20 Forge, just like how we have the UI that lets you make them. Is that what you mean, Liam? Anyways, from what I'm seeing of the Forge so far, like, my only contention is if I should buy the book on Forge or buy the full book again on Foundry and deal with the funky character creator on it. I hear what you're saying. Personally, and this is just me, I think, well, it depends. Are you running games, or are you playing? If you're running games, I think you're gonna, or I don't know how long it's gonna take for the VTT connection to come out. That is not up to me in any way. That is 100%, like, because I'll build the APIs for Mirrorscape, but I am absolutely not on the timelines. I have no idea what that's gonna look like. Maybe I'll have a better understanding of what that timeline looks like come next Thursday, when we start going over logistics. But Yeah, I have no idea what that timeline is. So if you're running games and you want a VTT, then Foundry is going to be your go-to right now. Absolutely. Um, unless when you can also you can it's and this is just you're going to have two screens if you do this. You can also like run a Mirror Forge game off a tablet and have your DM screen or vice versa uh, on the computer if you use DC20 Forge, so you can still run it that way. I do think that the benefits that you're going to get from DC20 Forge, again, if you're running games, is you have the world builder, you have the campaign runner, which truly I think it's like there's a lot of bells and whistles that you're going to get from DC20 Forge that just Foundry's only got the VTT and the character sheet. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's all you're looking to do. Um, I just tried to build DC20 Forge to be an all-in-one stop shop place to support your campaign needs. Um, so that and it's one could argue that there's actually far more in DC20 Forge for game masters than players. Um, which makes total sense to me because there's so much more you got to keep track of and be in charge with as a DM. So I'm a DM. I'm a player. I've done both. I know I kind of feel like I have a very good sense of what I want for simplicity's sake and function's sake and ease as a player, but also as a DM. Like, what do I want at my fingertips when I am running a game, and that's what I've tried to make DC20 as is that place where you've got it all. And is it perfect right now? No, but it's gonna get there. At some point it's gonna run pretty seamlessly in terms of rules and everything. I mean, that probably won't be until the rules are fully released, but it'll continue to be a great support and all around type of platform. It's just going to be annoying changing the mana values to all the spells with 10.5 comes out. Maybe. Um, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that yeah, I'm gonna have to go through all those pages, all the spells, and update those numbers manually. Yes, but in the places, and I have to double check this, but in the places that I have put certain things for spells, um, I tried to make it as easy for me as possible to update. So so that once I do that kind of once through of going in and changing those values, it should automatically update in the character sheet. So that's why the way I built everything in DC20 Forge is I have the rule book, and all of everything pulls from the rule book. So if a feature changes in the rule book, I just go and edit the way that feature is worded, and it changes how it's worded in the character sheet. And then the only thing I would have to do, and this is the only real bitch, is if it changes its function. Like, oh, you knew 3 spells, now you have 2, or something like that. Like sometimes that can be more complicated than it sounds. Yes, that's kind of my main thing right now. I really love the UI of Forge. Thank you. And I would love to use it for characters. It's just so hard to make decisions since most of my players are kind of boomers with tech. Yeah, that's fair. And if there's ultimately if they try it out, and like I don't know if I got a message from someone saying today that they wanted to try it, but they wanted to make sure their players they said their players were definitely not going to pay for it, so they wanted to make sure that their apprentice levels can access it. I do think DC20 Forge is easier from a character perspective than Foundry. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe it's because I made it to my own specifications. But I've used Foundry, and I do find DC20 Forge easier, and I'm always working on and I keep kind of going back to certain things and being like, oh, is this something that someone would need to look up? And I'm slowly kind of adding things to reference them somewhere. So like, just for an example, if you go to skills and you scroll down, there's limited languages. And if you don't know what that means, like, oh, if you just stumble on a language, you got to roll to see if that you understand it, and you don't know what that role is. If you click on the limited language thing, it'll describe it. Or if you go to death threshold and you don't know what death threshold or death door, or you don't understand any of those rules, if you click that, a UI will pop up that'll help you keep track of everything. So I'm kind of going back and forth with grit is a perfect example. So grit's one of the it's not a confusing rule, but it's a new rule if you're used to playing D&D 5e. So if you go and you click on the grit meter, um, a UI will pop up or a model will pop up that says, what do you want to use your grit points for? Do you want to give yourself advantage or on a saving throw, or do you want to tack off some damage? I've even added it into the HP. So you click the HP name and it'll create a calculator. And if you're taking some damage, you can add your grit points to it. That'll decrease some of the damage. So I feel like I'm constantly looking for ways to make it easier for users to use it. And because of how the automations work, it's less for your players to truly keep track of. The only thing that I've seen on the DC, other than like little bugs here and there, but the only thing I've seen like from a critique standpoint is just like, oh, I don't know how much damage I'm doing, and I think the question was placed towards that on the Spellblade originally, because like you could do an attack, you can go in the attack UI and you could add, and this is what's really cool, and I don't know if Foundry does this. So this is my English talking, but let's just say you're doing a Spellblade. You can go into the attack action, click it. You've got your weapon right there, your bound weapon, its description, everything is right there. How much damage it does, the type of damage it does. You can select a maneuver. It'll tell you if you've used as much MP as you want, or sorry, SP if you want to use more, and how much you're going to use. If there's any additional damages or saves, right there. If you want to add a spell because you have the spellbound and you want to add that, and you see, and so you have to manually count the damage. Like that's the only thing I don't have that. It's a very big undertaking for me to calculate damage, but it's on the list of things I might attempt. It'll be like, I've got nothing left to fix. Let's dig in. Like that's like when I will try that. But yeah, you've got everything listed. How much MP, how much SP, how many AP you are using in that action right then and there, and it marks it all off for you. It marks off your AP, your SP meter, all of it. All of it gets marked off when you use that action. And all you have to do is just look at this UI and calculate add up the damage, and then go manually roll your dice or go click the attack roll, and see if you hit. But I think that makes it really easy, and I got to thank Liam for that, because he's worked a lot hard to kind of critique those, and help me dig into like, all right, does this count for all the attack actions you can do? And then it's just knowing your features if anything goes into play that way. I'm glad you have an actual honest opinion and aren't just a salesman about your own product like a lot of people in this space. I could also maybe switch over subscription and try to use both. Yeah, hey, do whatever. Look, do whatever is gonna give you the easiest time. Mirror Forge has a slight learning curve to it, but I don't think, I honestly don't think it's that bad. I think it just takes it just like anything else. Like if you used as someone who's used, Liam, forgive me again, I forget it. Roll20, yeah, Roll20. So I tried to roll on Roll20. I don't know why, but I had so much trouble with it. I don't feel like Mirror Forge is as complicated as Roll20, in, again, my personal opinion. And anyone else can have a different opinion, but I always found some getting set up on stuff and getting different pages and things set up to be complicated. Whereas in Mirror Forge, it's kind of like quick save load, and you can pre-have things. What's it called? When things are blacked out, Fog of War. So I honestly think that Mirrorscape has a pretty good setup, and I'm really excited to pair with them, work with them. Everything's got a learning curve though, but I think that once people are in it and they've got the 3D, the AR, the VR working, and all the cool things they have planned, I think it'll be a really great spot for VTT. How far is adding the social system to DM screen down the docket? Not that far. I will actually probably get to it this Friday. I wanted to do it last week. I hit a wall. I'm not gonna lie. Friday came. What was Friday? Yeah, Friday came and I hit a wall. I could not bring myself to work after I got off of work. I couldn't bring myself to work on this after I got off work. Saturday, Saturday I had a board game day with friends, and then Sunday I hit a wall last weekend. I edited some things here and there, but like there was no strong commitment force to me working on things. But I've hit the ground running again this week after since yesterday. Since yesterday I started working on it again more seriously. But I just needed a break. I had so much work last week, and the snow and weather was not helping my mood. Foundry has most of the Spellblade stuff built in via macros. Patrick has done an amazing job with that. And when you make an attack, it allow you to choose for maneuvers and click. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I would assume that Foundry has absolutely done that. But thanks for chiming in on it. Yeah, so I'm sure they've done a great job over there. I honestly don't think, Raven, that you're gonna anywhere that's really working on DC20 stuff seriously. I've seen some of the DC crit stuff. I haven't seen DC20 online, but I'm sure that everyone's looking to do exactly what I'm doing, which is just trying to make it as simple as possible. And you just got to find whatever's gonna suit your function best. Again, I think what gives DC20 the edge is just everything else. Like, you could have just your character sheet, you could have just your VTT and a character sheet, but do you have all that campaign aspect? Do you have all the DM screen aspect? Do you have all the custom creation builders? So because if you just want to run straight DC20 content, then everywhere else is, I think, going to be doing just fine. And I think DC Crit is going to have custom monsters. It has going to have a lot of custom stuff. I think they're going to be heavy on that route. But again, do they have everything else? And do you need everything else? That's another question you got to ask yourself. If you want it, if you need it, if that's what's going to make your life easier, again, that's all I'm trying to do. I want to make your life easier. So, though on settings, a Kickstarter to fund more advanced features. Thoughts on settings. Thoughts on settings. A Kickstarter to fund more advanced features. I'd entertain the thought. I really badly want my DJ system. All right. So here's the problem. It's not that I'm against it. Okay, I'm totally for running a Kickstarter and then exploring that. But I also want to make sure I can live up to the promises I would make on it, because I would have to find someone to do the music. Because a lot of you can find places and stuff that have outright stuff like Pocket Bard and stuff like that, but I think I checked with my what is it called, Fantasy Complete. I checked with them, and because like I said, I a few live streams ago, I purchased all this fantasy sound content, and it would not be like I could not use that on here. Like they said that would be against their rules of purchase. So I would certainly be open to a Kickstarter. There would have to be some. Problem is, like, I don't know what concrete goals. I'm open to brainstorming, absolutely, with you, Liam, to see what we would even do with that. But I'd have to figure out what could I come out with that I haven't already come out with. I mean, the DJ system is awesome. I mean, we're already working on a VTT connection, which I don't think I'm gonna beat. um, I mean, the other things that I could offer is, again, I'm working on other, third party content. I'm working on a faction system, like we talked about, a mass combat system for DC20. I'm working on a sci-fi setting for DC20. So I mean, modules and stuff would certainly be up my alley of things that I could absolutely devote time and energy to as a part of the Kickstarter. But again, like, and I don't know where I would necessarily find those people, and that's probably my biggest hurdle is anything that who would I work with to kind of put those things together. Yeah, everyone's trying to do the same kind of thing. Forge is my favorite so far. Thank you. In terms of complexity without being overwhelming. Thank you. That's what I was going for. DC20 Online is good, but too simplistic for me. Okay. It's still Bambros. Okay. Fair enough. They do have Kickstarter backer content unlocked, though. I don't know what you mean by that. I'll make a list. You will never fail to not keep me busy, Liam. But I appreciate it. No, I like, honestly, like, there are definitely stuff that I did not think of when I was working on it that were 100% you, and I like did not even like think about it. Like again, like going back to the simplicity that Raven was just talking about. Like I was just looking for simplicity at one point, but then as you started throwing out ideas, it started to grow. Like just for an example, like, again, take the attack action, throw in the spell blade, throw in adding maneuvers and spells and all those things, and it's just like every time I'd add something to that attack action, Leon would come back 5 minutes later, like, add this to the attack action, add this to the attack action. Like, all right, I can do that. But it makes it so much more functional, and again, like, and I don't know if I feel like I'm gonna wait on Onyx. I don't know if Onyx is paying attention right now, if he's on here still. But I don't know if I'll wait on Onyx before I go after a calculated damage system that really accounts for all the damage that's being done. Because again, Onyx's work already has to build that. And again, like, I think my job is just to make sure all the main features, I can just let people be responsible for that for now. But if Onyx figures out a way to kind of do that for his video game, then all I need is like a kind of a foundation code that I can mimic in my already base code to auto calculate those things. Like it literally will just say, are these things present? Okay, this is the damage when in this situation, type deal. Would not be hard to implement if someone has already implemented it. You're here, Onyx. Oh, are you watching? What are you watching through? Every time I look at participants, it's like you either disappear or there. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna lean on you, Onyx, for that one too, because you got to build in a auto damage calculator for the video game anyway. Hope that's okay. I can give it the old college try like I did the dice roller, but you saved my ass there for 100%. By the way, if anyone's around Friday, and just so people know, and it'll only be you four people, but it's actually my birthday tomorrow. And so my wife and I are going up to Maine tomorrow night, and she's gonna work from Maine, and I'm not gonna work at all. Well, I'll work on this, and I'll just mess around with this stuff, because I'll take the day off from the office to go up there with her. But she'll be working all day, so I'll just work on this stuff. All good. Although I don't think it will translate well to the website due to Unreal Visual scripting. You have a point there. Yeah, I mean it may be, and honestly, if you have a foundation, I might be able to translate it myself. It's just more like, is the concept? If the concept's there, I might be able to mess with that. But yeah, if you Onyx and I think Kaibo couldn't make it the other day. If you guys aren't busy tomorrow, maybe we can find time to jump on not tomorrow, on Friday, to jump on Mirrorscape and play around with it. And I know Liam will be down if he's around too. But I now have the map, the official map. I tried to show it earlier, but I couldn't really figure out how to make this OBS work with the Mirrorscape scene. Hey, I feel like I don't know if joint would work too well because Onyx doesn't need me. Other than to keep making DC20 Forge work, but he'd probably need the funds more than I to get support on the video game building. But yeah, I honestly think Onyx should. Nice. Yeah, Liam, if you can find a way for me to do a Kickstarter, I'm more than happy to try to do one to get some funds to. We all need you. I love you guys. I love the DC20 community. Honestly, I've been throughout a ton of different ones. All the way from Cogent to ICRPG to I loved the ICRPG community too. That's where I started my YouTube journeys was ICRPG. But I just feel like it's very close between the ICRPG community and DC20 community. But I feel like the DC20, and I think it's just Coach just attracts these kind of people. But I just feel like DC20 community is just one of the best like RPG communities in terms of followings. Just everyone's so patient and understanding because obviously like DC20 Forge isn't perfect and I'm still working on it, but everyone's been so supportive and just like, hey, just throwing up these like, hey, this isn't working. All right, I'll get it working. No one's been rude or upset at all. So I think there was maybe one misunderstanding. I might have had it briefly, and it was just a misunderstanding. And once we cleared things up, it was like, oh, yep, that's what it was. But that's pretty much it. And I just think everyone's awesome. Are you currently having development to mostly yourself? Or sorry, I don't know you guys' current situation, but are you going to plan on having more people help out with development at some point? Yeah, great question, Raven. It's just me right now. I mean, Liam and Onyx had been so supportive, so have other DC20 users, just in terms of playtesting and giving me feedbacks that I can work on. But in terms of build, it's all me. Onyx took care of the two things for me on DC20 Forge. The random monster generator is all him, and then the dice roller is all Onyx. So both of those two bits of code came from Onyx. So and I can't tell you how massive the dice roller was. It was just something I could not figure out. I could not get it to work. I could not get a D10 to take a D10 shape to save my life, and the physics engine I just couldn't get it. It would either click or not. It was just so frustrating. I know Alex can attest to how much of a bitch it was, but he came through in the end. And then Liam's been such a massive play tester for me. But nope, it's all editing. And as terms of expanding the team, I'm certainly open to it. It's certainly things I've considered. I don't know where to look necessarily for it at the moment, but I, of course, want to get to a point where it's not all on me. But that all will just come down to the success of the website and how much it's able to bring in. My current goal right now for the website, and I don't know if this. I'm one of those people who's like, I don't know how realistic this is. I feel like it just based on simple math, I think it's realistic. But if it can replace, my first goal for it is to replace my wife's income. My wife is amazing woman. She doesn't. She's just unhappy with the jobs that she's been in, and I have my office at the same time, and I if I were to try to do anything for her, I would love to replace her income and let her come help out with me in my office, because she can do some of the back end stuff, take some pressure off me, and my brother's the other doctor in the office, and we'll just go to town on working on what we need to work on and get our heads out of the back end, which will just make my office more successful. So that's my first goal, and then my second goal, again, if all possible, is it replace my income, as I'll sell my half of the office to my brother, and I would do this stuff full time. Like I love content, I love creating, so I would love to just spend my days just working on the site, making it better, and making content for it, and running games, live streams. Like that would be the dream. So it's if it could do those two things, then I'm absolutely going to be looking for hiring other people to help out. As long as I can afford it, that's really what it comes down to. Happy birthday! You have the same birthday as my dad. I think we established that a few weeks ago. But thank you, preach. Agreed. Only reason why I got back into the game devs was because of this community. Yeah, it's a great community. Yeah, this community helped me beat social anxiety. I'll be always thankful for that. Hey, man, it's one step at a time. I'm the last person. I'm the last person who can technically relate to social anxiety, because I'm probably one of the most outgoing people you ever meet. But everyone gets nervous. It's just a matter of pushing past it. And I feel like it's like practice makes perfect. Like once you've gone through it, but everyone gets it in certain situations. Me, it's dancing. I love to dance, but I need a good amount of liquor in me before I do it. I hated the dice roll so much. Manually re-rolling just to have the dice values to match face values. Yes, preach, Onyx, preach. Yeah, yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, and screw the D12. I actually feel like maybe I should have shared my code with you for the D12, because I feel like the D12 was not an issue for me. It was just the D10. I mean, they were all a bit of an issue. Like none of them were perfect. None of them were like none of them would come to a natural end of the roll. Like that was my issue. They didn't come to a natural end. They would sometimes they would be just in a weird position, and it wouldn't always read the right face. But that was just, yeah, no, I get it. All right. Well, I have run into overtime, as Coach would say, but I am going to go ahead and crash before my exceedingly long day tomorrow and drive up to Maine. But yeah, the social system, Liam, I'm probably gonna work on Friday, and I should be able to get the PDF up on Friday, no questions asked. It'll just be creating a social encounter in the elements. That'll come down to. But thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last hour, and thanks for working with me, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate the birthday wishes as well. Stay clever and play smarter. Night, guys.